Today we're going to be making an apple pie. So what I did, I'll move this for you a little bit. So I'm using two different kinds of apples. One is a Granny Smith and the other one is a Fuji. And I'm using 6 and 6 of them, which equals out to a dozen apples or 12 apples. The Fuji is a Washington Red Delicious and a Yellow Delicious. So that's how you get your Fuji. The Granny Smith is a cross between a Washington apple and a Pippin apple. And the Pippin apples were smaller and harder, much harder. But they had a tart taste to them, where the Granny Smith has a little bit of tart. So they make a nice, good baking apple. Both of them do. And they keep their shape. They're not mushy or anything like that. So what I had done is I cut up 6 of the Granny Smith and 6 of the Fujis. And I peeled them and everything, cut them up. And then I cooked them in a pot. Now what gave me that amount of apples gave me about 14 cups of apples, or, you know, it's just a bowl that was mounded. So if you do 6 and 6 of the apples, you should be just fine for one large pie. And then what I did is after I sliced them up and put them in a kettle, and I put a half a cup of water onto the apples and then let them simmer slightly. I mean, you don't want to boil or anything like that. You just want them to simmer nicely. And then that will cook them down. You'll still have some water on the bottom that comes from the apples, but that's okay. Keeps them from sticking. And this is just a stainless steel Revere pot, so it's not sticking or anything like that. And then you let it cook. It takes about, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that to cook. And then it cooks them down. Once it's cooked down, then we're going to make our apple pie. Now this apple pie is made without sugar. And if you're one of those people that loves sugar and that's all you want to eat is sugar, or you put a lot of sugar in your item of things that you eat, you're not going to like this pie because it isn't as sweet. Now, if you're not used to that much sugar, it'll be just fine for you. And it's good for diabetics, but sometimes diabetics they want that sweetness and they're not going to find it in this pie. So I'm using a recipe. Now this is my old book, but it's from Country Life Kitchens. It's called Country Life Natural Foods, Something Better. And Nutrition Seminar Cookbook. Anyways, I got this years and years ago, and it has a lot of good recipes in it. The gravy recipe is from this book. This apple pie recipe, there's quite a few other ones. So I use it often. I try to remember to tell you where you can find them. This book is on Amazon if you want to look for it, and it runs around $15 or so. Anyways, they've got a lot of good recipes in there, and it's because they had Country Life kitchens or restaurants, and LA had a Country Life restaurant. When they first opened, I found out that people are wrapped around the building, and it took you hours to get in. So anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to use into our pot, we're going to make a sauce over the apples to make them a little bit tastier. And we need 3 tablespoons of water, and then we need arrowroot flour. And I want to take this off because I don't want it to cook yet. That's 3 tablespoons of arrowroot, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, or to taste. I'm using about a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then you're going to use, it's frozen concentrate apple juice. So you want 1 cup of the apple juice when it's slushy, and then add 2 more tablespoons of the apple juice. We're going to put that in there. And then we're going to whisk it. Get me a whisk out. To whisk it up. And we're going to put that on our burner on a medium setting. Put that over here. Turn that down just a bit. And we're going to cook this for about 5 minutes. And you don't really want it to boil, you just want a good simmer to it, just an almost boil. So we'll be back in a minute when that's cooking. So our sauce has gotten to a boil, but it thickened quite a bit. So now we're going to pour that into our apples. And it is sticky. Okay. And then we're going to mix up the apples.
Can you give it a push?
To there. Let's move this. Oh, that's hot. There. Okay, we mix that up like this. Got that. Now we're going to put it into our pie shell. This is a deep dish. You don't have to use one that deep. You can use this more shallow one like we do for the pumpkin pie, but that's up to you. And there we have it. Now I'm going to put a pie crust on this. And you do want to put a pan under it, and just in case some of those juices come out. But this makes a wonderful pie. My family all loves this. So I'll be back after we put a top on it.
Yep.
Okay, so we have our pie crust on the top now. It's even starting to seep out a little bit of juices. And yeah, it looks a little rough. Sometimes dough works and sometimes it doesn't. And my dad always said it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it tastes good. That's what matters. So, okay, there you go. Anyway, so we're going to cook this at 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. And we don't really have to bake it to where anything inside is going to get done because the apples are already cooked. So it's just mainly getting a nice brown coating on this. And if you would like, I don't have any right now, but you can take a little bit of sugar and put on it, makes it sparkle. So when you take it out of the oven, that's always a nice look to it. Not a whole lot, just a sprinkle of it. Anyways, all right, and we'll be back later. And we're back with our apple pie. I put it on a cookie sheet. Don't put the cookie sheet under the bars of your oven. You want to put the cookie sheet on top of that with the pie in it because it does drip and it does run down and you don't want to have to be cleaning your oven or anything else. So anyways, this is just right out of the oven. I put it in at 350 for an hour and it did brown, but 400 would have been okay probably, and probably a little bit less cooking time, maybe 45 minutes. So it's up to you how you want to do that, but do watch it. You don't want it to burn. Anyways, so enjoy your apple pie and remember to keep it practical.